Greetings, my movie geeks. Spoiler alert! Spoilers as a river song utters to the Doctor about the dangers of knowing their future. Where does the spoiler phenomenon come from? It's safe to say there are a hell of a lot of films that work better if spoilers are kept to a minimum. But one of the reasons to keep spoilers to a minimum is for a twist ending.
What a twist!
The twist at the end of the film that completely changes the tone, the outcome, or even the trajectory of the film. A twist is a revelation that comes completely out of the blue. It's hinted at in the most subtle ways that become glaringly obvious on subsequent viewings. They can change the course of the entire film, making everything watched almost completely irrelevant, as with The Usual Suspects. Pal. Or it can be a massive info drop, filling in the gaps and backstory of all the characters, as with The Empire Strikes Back.
No. It's not true. That's impossible!
No spoilers from me, mind, for those fairly old films. There's even the films that are made so well that when the twist comes, you look back at all the interaction to see if it works. And yes, it does with films like The Sixth Sense.
I see dead people walking around like regular people.
I don't see anything. Are you sure they're there?
Sometimes you feel it inside.
But I'm here to talk about the one spoiler, the one twist ending that came before all twist endings. The film that set out its marketing to insist it was watched from the beginning. The film that had the best trailer, in my opinion, which was literally the director walking around the set, describing the film. I am talking about Psycho, the father, the grandfather of modern horror, and the twist ending. Is it horror or more thriller? Horror. Alright, cool. So, I suppose I had better drop the spoiler warning here. For those of you who haven't seen Psycho, honestly, what are you doing? Spoilers! Hitchcock's most famous film, the one that all film students are required to watch and analyse, is impossible to talk about without mentioning the twists. Designed and shot to shock and thrill the audience, it goes without saying that the first time you see this film is the most effective and memorable. I remember watching it at 13 years old on a small telly in my bedroom. It was being shown way past my bedtime, but because I'd watched it from the beginning, I was allowed to stay up past the late time of 11:30 p.m. to finish it, because my parents were fairly awesome and encouraged me to watch awesome films. I remember getting to the finale and exclaiming, "What? It was him?" The film works so much better if you haven't seen it, if you don't know the twist, if it hasn't been spoiled for you. But it is made so well that multiple viewings are a necessity. There are more twists than just the end, however. The murder of the protagonist, a mere quarter of the way through the film. And back then, it would have shocked audiences. People say they'd like to go back in time to see Star Wars in the theatre, but I would probably go back to see this, just for the audience's reactions. You could argue that these twists have become so well known that they outshine the film. Many of the elements that make it work, the shower scene, the scream, the shrieking music, which I go into depth in my one musical scene essay, have all grown legs to exist on their own as pastiches and references in other films and shows. Saying this, it seems impossible that anyone wouldn't know Norman Bates and his infamous hotel, given there was a prequel series that went into depth into the character and his problems. But I have to say, there has to be some people, like I was at 13, who didn't know the twist. My son, who is 13, still hasn't seen it, and I'm pretty sure he doesn't know the twist end. As it stands, I might actually sit him down and watch this film with him. The twist is exactly what Hitchcock wanted the audience to find out in the cinema. So much so that he refused to have advanced screenings for critics and other industry people to prevent plot details from leaking. Outside of the theatres themselves, audiences were made to wait in long lines. While waiting, recordings of Hitchcock's voice played saying,
"I've suggested that Psycho be seen from the beginning. In fact, this is more than a suggestion. It is required."
This is something sorely missed in the day of social media, camera phones, and leaky movie leaks that could ruin a film. Once inside the theatre, audiences would be greeted by life-size cutouts of the director holding a sign restating that no one would be allowed into the screening after the start of the film. In 1960, if you were 2 minutes late to a showing of Psycho, you would be refused entry and offered a ticket to the next complete showing. How exciting is that? You're being told you have to watch the film from the start. You don't want to be spoiled. This is the sort of marketing that should be done now. How many times have this film started and people have carried on coming in about 10 minutes after it's begun, especially given the amount of adverts we have? Did you know when Robert Bloch's novel was published in 1959, Hitchcock bought all the copies to keep the plot twist under wraps? Similarly, studio execs and theatre owners were given no details about the film. And now you know movies. The success of Psycho hinges on the number of twists that are meant to be guessed. Marion, following her committing a crime, turns into the parking lot of the Bates Motel. It looks eerie and we know bad things are going to happen there. We can sense it. Then she decides to go home and correct her mistake. These are the misdirects that Hitchcock wants us to know. Hitchcock even went as far to publicise the shower scene, sharing in an interview with the New York Times during the first week of filming that Psycho would have one violent bathroom scene showing a young woman murdered while taking a shower. That's a massive spoiler, but you just don't know who it is. The trailer I mentioned earlier features Hitchcock giving the tour of the Bates Motel. It showed Hitchcock standing in the set of the infamous bathroom in Crane's motel room. He tells the audience that they've cleaned all this up now. You should have seen the blood. Pulling back the shower curtains as the trailer cuts to a close-up of a screaming woman. But it's not Janet Leigh. It's Vera Miles who plays Crane's sister Lila. It is yet another misdirect to save you from knowing the twist that lie within the film. It's a fantastic film that has a fantastic twist. Without Psycho, twists in films just wouldn't be as popular as they are today. But did I actually mention what the twist was? Now that's a twist. Thank you for watching. I'm Nate, the Ultimate Movie Geek. Please like, share, subscribe, and ring that bell to be notified every time we release a video. Thank you for watching.
Here she is.
Mrs. Bates.
Oh my god. It's him. Oh my god.